Get it perfect. Partner, test your kickstand. Now we're going to get ready to go into the turn. For the turn, first step is to engage your hips. What happens when you engage your hips is that picks his hips up off the mat. Now once his hips are up off the mat, I keep my hips engaged and I leg curl. My heel comes to my butt and I crawl forward on my hand. I only bring his head with me. The way that I bring his head with me is by trying to turn. I hook my thumb up under his chin and I try to turn him to face me. Try to look at him. Now, as soon as I can get him to look at me, I can usually drop into the throat and drop him into near fall. Okay, here's my position. I call this dominant, where my hips are on top of his hips. If he were to roll through and I'm in dominant position the other way, I cover. Here's what I'm not doing, roll back. I'm not trying to lay down and cuddle with him. I'm trying to get my back points cuddling with him. If I try to cuddle with him and he rolls through, it might be a different story. That position right there cost me an NCAA championship my sophomore year in college. I rolled through, helped me on my back, beat me by a riding time point, and then won the NCAA championship. So when I say no spooning, I mean it. One more time. Here's your lock. Right now, I've already gotten his hips in the air. I can just start to run that leg curl. Only bring his head, make him look at me, look at me. If I can get him to drop there, great. If I can't, I drop my bicep in his throat. Cover, stay dominant. If you dropped your elbow, that's okay. I'd rather you be up high if you can. I'm not gonna try to grab underneath here, half Nelson or anything with this arm, just because he's got muscles here that I don't wanna deal with if I don't have to. I'm gonna grab his head, it's much more influential and less resistance. Okay. Does anybody have any questions here? The way I think about engaging your hips, that's something that's not necessarily intuitive. The way I think about engaging your hips is, when I was in high school, I still sort of do it too. When I was in high school, I did it like every time I went to the weight room. If there was anybody else, if I was lifting by myself, you guys know the leg curl machine? You hook your ankles in there and you do hamstring curls. So if I was by myself, then I would actually do the hamstring curls that I could physically handle, which would be like 2 pins down at like 30 or something. But if there was anybody else in there, like any girls or the football team, I'd like throw it down on 110 or something, just because I had too much pride. And I'd get in there, hook my ankles in, and just start humping the machine. You know what I'm talking about? Because you're cheating real bad. And then you get like 2 inches at the very end. That's a true hamstring curl. You get in there and you're like, huh! And then you like get a little, but you know, you do the motion, but you're not using your hamstring. You're just like using your hips. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I want you to do. When you go in, like you put on too much weight on the hamstring curl, you got to make it happen. I get a little hump in there and then a hamstring curl. Follow me? Only bring his head. Keep your hips facing the mat. Do not spoon. 1, 2, 1, 2.